Hello there. You are welcome to the channel of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. We are having what you would call the Chamber Dialogue live on our networks and also on our channels. Basically, we organize these events to shed some light on some very key topics. And today we are looking at 5G. Yes, 5G and what it means for businesses in Ghana and beyond. So we're going to take a very quick break. When we return, I'll introduce some very special guests that will help us navigate this particular topic, and then we'll get into it. So do stick and stay.
I now want our children to use the internet to learn. No, we be farmers, doctors, lawyers, fishers, traders in a market kahun. Na ye pede friends and loved ones who bonkomu fondo without any interruptions.
Ow, yes, ow. A stable service netuma send them mobile money na come our parents of ye.
JT Trot Room or Pedosha Chelsea vs Man City game without missing a moment.
Era mana, onoze nenwa jido bo receive mobile money payments every the customers ho. On pay delay so. Eboze love talks in quoting or po. Obotuma kasa till he sleeps on the phone.
Eyumunyina is made possible because of the red, white, and grey telecommunication towers are our communities munti. Them telecommunication towers are safe or to the benefit of Obiara our community nimo. We are here, the Yabobwa. In case of any emergency biara, and now you see a theft going on, for the Ghana Police Service on 191 and now 18555, Ebotunsa for 0209 222220 and 0242 435629 and now 30 for assistance. So, welcome the telecommunication towers into the approved locations in your neighborhoods so that you can keep connecting to the people and things you love. Message Ghana Institution of Engineering and the Radiation Protection Institute and a wine doors.
So like the advert just said, make sure you welcome towers into your communities as it enables you to connect to the people and things you love. Yes. So like I said, today we're talking about 5G and what it means for businesses on today's edition of the Chamber Dialogue. And I have with me some two very experienced people on this particular topic. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. Ladies first.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Engineer Mrs. Louisa Amasusu from MTN.
We share the same name, Louis and Louisa. I love it. And then yourself?
Good afternoon to your listeners. My name is Anthony Sam from Vodafone.
You two are very excited about 5G. You're technical people.
Yeah.
But today we need you to break it down, bring it from the clouds, to like the ground for us. So
definitely.
5G, 4G, 3G, 2G, 1G. Now from the 1980s, we know of the evolution of 5G, of 1G, for example. Some people even say there's 0G. But from Japan, that enabled the proliferation of 1G voice calls to now we have 4G everywhere and even 5G rolled out in some places. Talk to me from 1G to 5G. What really has changed for people?
So a lot has changed because we're spanning over 30 years and technology has changed, devices have changed, the experience, quality, and everything has changed because it has evolved over time. So there have been improvements with each release of the G. So 1G, an enhancement was 2G, then 3G, so it kept improving until 5G, which also opens up a new level of availability in terms of capacity and then very low latency. Okay. So it's an evolving and improvement cycle.
Okay. Anything to add?
Just to add, each evolution of the technology has come with improvement, especially in data. And also, each generation, it's more data centric. And so the data 3G brought was better or an improved version of what we were having in 2G. And the same way, 4G brought a much higher experience on data, and so each generation came with something better. The efficiencies, the technology, efficiencies within the technology Yes,
So
with the technology.
So 1G in the 1980s, you're making voice calls. 2G, voice calls and text and sound messaging ability.
Yes.
3G, access to the internet proper.
Mm-hmm.
That should be in the 2000s. And then 4G, now you high speed.
That's correct. And so you can do more video. Like the people are used to video calling now as opposed to just doing a voice call. And even talking about 4G, we have a variant now, 4G plus. I mean, with the advent of technology neutrality, and so we've even done an enhancement of the 4G, and so it makes life even much better.
I'm struggling thinking of days when you'll be uploading videos and then they'll just be buffering. I'm just thinking of that signal, and we really come so far. Now, currently in Ghana, what are people enjoying? I mean, are we enjoying 5G? Is it 2G, 1G, 0G? What are we enjoying?
We have currently 2G, 3G, and 4G deployed in Ghana, and it's across the country. So you can enjoy any one of them, or sometimes, depending on your location or mobility, you might even move from one technology to the other. And your device is critical to be able to access the higher technologies. So that's also key. If you don't have the right device, you wouldn't be able to enjoy the right or the higher technology.
Okay, by right device, so if you have a YAM, for example, I won't be able to do. Would I be able to do 3G?
YAM.
YAM, no. No access to internet.
No, so yes, YAM or the very, very YAM, the Nokia 3310s and all that, they are more 2G, they are just voice centric, they only support voice. Yes, 3G does some voice and then also data.
Okay.
All right, and so like Louisa said, all these technologies are backward compatible, I would say. And so if you have a 4G device, it's able to work on 3G and also on 2G. If you check your phones, when you go to settings, you see 2G, 3G, or 2G, 3G, 4G, or auto. And so that enables you to move within the technologies. And it depends on the coverage. If it's available and you have the right device, you are able to access that very technology that is available where you find yourself. Yes, you may also be in a 4G area, but it could be highly utilized. And so the network itself manages the usage, and so maybe it will bring you to 3G for you to still have an experience. And so that is what the network does to ensure the users are managed across the various technologies.
Now, for a lot of people watching, they might think, 4G is only available in Accra, Kumasi, Tadi. But I mean, from the data we have 4G coverage in over 90%, of the country.
All the regional capitals and district capitals have 3G, 4G.
3G, 4G. Already. So, but if you are then, your phone might not be 4G compatible, so you will not, be enjoying high-speed internet. You might think there's no 4G. So if you're out there and you're watching, make sure you get, 4G-enabled devices, and you would enjoy 4G almost anywhere across the country. Now, as the population has grown, I mean, last census we had over 30 million people in Ghana. The world population has crossed 8 billion. Talk to me about the desire and the drive for data. I mean, is it concerning? Is it encouraging? And where does 5G fit into this? Isn't 4G enough?
So I mean, I would say data has become democratized now. I mean, after COVID, where people started working from home, the desire or the appetite for data is increased. And McKinsey did a study somewhere the late 2000s, indicated that quite a number of, about 70% of connectivity is coming from indoor, and people are now working with a lot of connectivity. So the appetite and desire for data is increased. And what we are monitoring is that the trends for data is gone really, really high. And that brings in its wake the desire or our readiness to increase our footprints, our capacity to ensure we continuously give people the experience, the desire to do their connectivity.
I don't know what.
So 5G also brings enhanced mobile data access. So it's built on 4G, and then it also allows for you to connect more smart devices. So Internet of Things opens up, and then it comes with very low latency.
No, explain. You mentioned the Internet of Things. Really. Break it down for us, like I'm saying.
Okay. So Internet of Things is basically connecting other things beyond the smartphone to networks.
So within your home or your offices?
Yes. What most people are used to now, I would say in Ghana, would be the ECG meters, the smart ones. So they know, most people know that already.
Okay.
So that's one example. So it's any device which is smart and can connect to a network.
So visualize it for me. Is it that, okay, Internet of Things would mean, okay, if I'm going home, for example, before I get home, I should be able to turn on some devices,
Yes.
my AC here, my gate opens.
You are spot on, So think we are in a connected world. So things are connected, fridges and everything. You should be able to interact with these things, and all these things are enabled by technology. And data we are passing now, 4G alone will not be enough to hold or sustain this. And so definitely newer spectrum will be needed. And the evolving technology will be an accompaniment to support the data we are seeing today.
Now, a lot of people are using their data for the TikToks and the likes. So some would say 4G is quite fine because I enjoy 4G. Some people have 4G in their homes. They're able to watch their movies without buffering. The kids are watching their cocoa melons, their cocoa melons without having any issues, so they're not crying. You go to Abidjan, 4G, you make your calls, everything is smooth. Do we have a need for 5G? Is there a need for 5G?
Yes, there's a need for 5G.
Explain, please.
Okay, so development is ongoing, and 5G opens up a lot of use cases to drive this. Okay, if you listen recently to the NCA's 5-year strategy, you'll see they have listed there that they want to make spectrum available for us to be able to deploy 5G in Ghana. Other sister countries too have also launched already, and they're enjoying it. Now, because of
some countries have launched already.
Yes.
Wow, we're behind them.
We'll get there soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very important that 4G has taken us to a point, but there are certain things that will be easier or much more enhanced when you have 5G, where you can connect more things and then be able to gather more data and drive insights which can make you proactive and act fast in different sectors. So there is a need for us to look at 5G.
So if you cast your mind back when we had 3G data, everybody was like, wow, I could do this, I could do that. Now 4G came and people were like, what is 3G? 3G was nothing. And so that's the same thing that would happen with 5G. The speeds 5G afford, it's like 5 to 10 times better than what we are experiencing today with 4G. And like Louisa said, with all the use cases and then the enhancements, we really must get ourselves ready. Aside the latency, the speed with which you interact with the network, you send information and receiving a response, that's improved tremendously, just under 2 milliseconds. So with a blink of an eye, you have a response. More so, the device density, a lot more people are able to connect. So just consider maybe a dual carriage with a motorway. Maybe you have 2 cars going concurrently, as opposed to now having a 4 carriage or 5 carriage, more people or more cars going at a certain speed
without any slowdown.
Okay, so it opens up the pipe, so to speak, for people to do more. So that's what 5G brings. There's an enhanced security and
So the question I asked was, our readiness, and Louisa alluded to the fact that the NCA's 5-year strategic plan speaks of 5G. So on the regulatory side, it appears there are preparations or the things being done to prepare the ground for 5G to be launched and rolled out. But do you think that as the networks and then the people in terms of stakeholders, so the ordinary Ghanaian on the streets, are they ready for 5G? We'll come to the businesses and what it means for businesses, but I believe that with 5G, the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications currently is running a campaign on the acceptance of towers in our communities, which means that with 5G, we're going to need more infrastructure, I believe, more towers in our communities to enable people and businesses to enjoy 5G. Am I right?
Absolutely. Devices, yes, because that is how users interact with the network. And I must say, in the past 2 or 3 years, newer versions of devices that have been rolled out are 5G ready. I mean, most of the iPhones, Samsung X20, Galaxy S20 and beyond, they are all 5G ready. So that's on the user side. Yes, but I mean, the penetration is quite low from the Ghanaian perspective. So it's something we need to drive more. So a lot more people will have 5G capable devices. On the network side, we also need to refresh across board from your radio assets where users connect or interact with the network. We need to refresh, and that is very much dependent on the guidance from NCA, what spectrum is licensed. Yes, what we have is software defined, but it also works within a certain range of spectrum. Okay. And so depending on what they bring, we are also able to refresh our network accordingly. Our transport network, yes, there's a lot of fiber in the country, which is a good base to support. So it comes with a little tweak to ensure that our road network to carry the traffic is also quite open. And obviously the core network where the connectivity happens, we need to have a 5G ready core network to be able to switch or manage the requests from customers or the users.
So all you're saying is on the network side you are ready. If the regulatory side is also ready, then when we get affordable smartphones.
So if it's a journey, yes, we have the base infrastructure. We need to just enhance them, and it comes with some investment. We need to just enhance them, just the way we did for 2G to 3G, 3G to 4G. Yes, and we need to do a similar thing for 5G, just to be sure end to end we are ready. Once the regulator also comes with a spectrum, we are able to roll out, and with the right devices, cherished customers will be able to enjoy a very great experience on the network.
But just staying on the point of the devices, I mean, if the devices keep staying at the prices they are staying at, some 20,000 Ghana cedis, 15, I don't know, very expensive devices. I mean, I think a point can be made for steps to be taken to ensure that devices are affordable so that everyone can have access, so that they can enjoy 5G when it comes, on an individual level, or even for business owners who are using their mobile devices for business. I don't know.
Well, interestingly, we see some 5G devices in the country already. Yeah. And yes, the issue of cost is a valid one, but you realize that over time with the handsets journey evolution like that, you'd see that the prices are also coming down, and then you get much cheaper, relatively cheaper smartphones. Okay. Yeah. So, but the devices to use 5G is not only the handsets. Okay, so that's one thing because we've talked about Internet of Things, so there are lots of things that can also connect. Okay. So let's not only think it's about just the handsets or the phones. Yes. Okay, that's very important.
And for us as businesses, we also drive a device plan, to just walk users along the journey. So for typical consumers, we are able to support with some good packages for users to be able to get the needed terminals or equipment to be able to access the network. For businesses, which I believe will be coming shortly, we are also able to do that. So like Lisa said, it's not just the phones. Yes, there are other ways to connect. We have fixed wireless terminals, which becomes a substitution for areas we do not have a fiber infrastructure, so that we have modems where we give out to users, and then that's their way of connecting to the network. And a 5G modem, for example, would give you an enhanced connectivity compared to what you probably have for 3G and then 4G.
Okay, so now, we're going to take a quick break here. When we return, though, we'll talk about the sectors in our economy that, stand to benefit from 5G. Is it every sector, from agriculture to fashion to the petty trading? Which businesses stand, the best chance to benefit from 5G, or is it everybody? I'm here with Mr. Sam and Madame Louisa, both from Vodafone and MTN respectively, and we're talking about 5G and what it means for businesses. We're taking a very short break. When we return, we'll find out, is your business, or does the business stand a good chance of benefiting from 5G? To stay with us.
Ahani nyinaa want our children to use the internet to learn. Na wenyina be farmers, doctors, lawyers, fishers, traders in a more keka ho. Ahani nyinaa ye pede yenye friends and loved ones who bonkomu ofondo without any interruptions.
Ow, yes, ow. A stable service netuma send them mobile money na come our parents of ye.
JT Trot Room or Pedosha Chelsea vs Man City game without missing a moment.
Era mana, onoze nenywa jido obo receive mobile money payments every the customers ho. Pay delay so. Eboze love talks in quoting or po. Obotuma kasa till he sleeps on the phone.
Eyimunyina is made possible because of the red, white, and grey telecommunication towers are our hen communities in Munti. Them telecommunication towers are safe or to the benefit of Obiara our community nimo. We are here, the Yabobwa. In case of any emergency biara, and now you see a theft going on, for the Ghana Police Service on 191 and now 18555. Ebotunsa for 0209 222220 and 0242 435629 and now 30 for assistance. So, welcome the telecommunication towers into the approved locations in your neighborhoods so that you can keep connecting to the people and things you love. Message Ghana Institution of Engineering and the Radiation Protection Institute and a wine doors.
Hello there, and welcome once again to the live broadcast of the Chamber Dialogue brought to you by the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. The conversation today is about 5G. 5G, yes. We move from 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and the conversation now is 5G. You might not be experiencing 5G now, but other countries, across the world have launched 5G and are enjoying the benefits. What does it mean for you, as a business or even as an individual? That's a conversation we are having here. And the question I spoke of before we left was, which sectors within the Ghanaian economy? When you speak of the Ghanaian economy, a lot of people say, no, it's actually, I don't want to use a derogatory term, the informal sector, but the real sector. That's like the Ghanaian economy. But then there are other forms of, from business to agriculture to to industry. That's the makeup of our economy. What businesses or what sectors stand a chance to benefit from 5G once it's deployed, in the next year or 2 or 3?
Great question. So 4G, let me start from the 4G was more consumer-centric solution. Right, so we see apps and all those things developed for the consumer. Right, 5G, it's more business centric. Right, so there are a lot of business verticals that would benefit from 5G as an enabler. Okay. A typical case in point, if you take the health sector, right, just imagine doing a virtual consultation, and this is real time, enhanced video experience, so you see the person as if the person is sitting right before you to do consultation. You go to the hospitals today and there are long queues. What if we are able to, with the power of 5G, do this virtual consultation? I think it becomes very easy for doctors to assess, and also knowing our doctor to patient ratio in country. For a typical consultation, imagine having a digital twin, right? So Bobie is here and there's a digital twin of Bobie where the doctor is interacting. So you have, let's say, a particular sensor on your body, and then whatever you are complaining about, I'm just seeing it on your digital twin. I'm able to interact better, though you are not before me, and then the diagnosis and everything will be quite improved and accurate for the patient. And so in the health sector, that's one key application 5G will be powering once it becomes available, and it cuts across transport, energy, and I believe Louisa has a lot to share as well.
Yes, so 5G is an enabler and it will be beneficial to all sectors.
All sectors?
That is what I think.
Okay.
And I'll cite some examples. Yeah. So for logistics, for instance, you could do fleet tracking.
Okay.
Yes.
Isn't that happening now? You're saying there'll be an enhanced version?
Okay, an enhancement, because there's so much more you can do with your trucks being censored and then redirecting wow. So you dispatch and then you have an urgent request, and then you know that you can stop and make an additional delivery right on your route before you even continue. There's drone delivery as well. So you could be doing some surgery somewhere, they need blood and they have to get it quickly across. It could be dispatched from Kolibo 37 straight quickly to that.
To pinpointed the locations,
Yes.
because of 5G. So
it could be my lady in Makola who has something to deliver and then just sends it by drone to Adenta, to a client who has actually made a request. So each sector can go in. You could also have a look at your fashion designer designing something, and then you go and interact with it, because now you're turning it around, having a 3D view and everything. It's okay, this style is correct, let's go for it. So you have to look at your industry, but there are so many things that can be done, because there's more things you can connect, more sensors, you can take in more data and analyze and then make decisions. So education would also benefit. I think we can name every
agriculture.
sector. Agric, yes. So we've heard of even 5G powered fish ponds, okay, where you can use sensors to determine the time that the feed should be dispatched into the pond for the fishes to eat. You can check the temperature when it's getting too cold or too warm, when to change the water, because there's a lot of things. So agric will benefit, mining sector will benefit. You'd see you can send in driverless cars into very dangerous consignments for mining, and that's also another thing.
Well, let me quickly add public transport, especially our rail system.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of announcements. I mean, rail cabins coming in country probably from February.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where people were just rushing to join our rails when, I mean, Accra to Pakadan and all that.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, so once you have a sensor on the rail, it tells you which cabin is empty. And so once it gets to the stop, users or commuters already know which cabin they have to access, instead of just going from cabin to cabin. And so that brings an enhancement. Manufacturing, there are forklifts and tractors all over the shop floor. If they are fitted with sensors powered by 5G, I mean, the efficiency, reduction of accidents on the shop floor, all these are enhancements we stand to gain. Now there are driverless cars all over the place. Very soon,
and not in Ghana.
Yes, very soon they will catch up with us. I mean, even our infrastructure, yes, year of roads, all right, there are bridges being built all over. What if we have sensors built into, I mean, this bridge to record the vibrations and all the activities happening? And this data are collected at a central point, analyzed. And so you get to know if a particular bridge is experiencing a lot more vibrations or there are issues with it. City engineers can move in quickly to go and fix. Remember the number or the time it took for us to do the Adome Bridge. It could have been faster if, I mean, we had employed technology. Our energy sector, our utilities, if we are, I mean, controlling this with technology, electricity, our water, if all these things are controlled rightly, I believe that we'll see a lot more efficiency in the system. We'll avoid waste. Yes.
Yeah, you avoid waste. Yes, I'm thinking of Uber, for example, and how business owners could actually invest in, like you say, in driverless cars. But I mean, Ghana, I don't know how many people would want to get into a car without a driver and then have the car drive them from place to place. You're on a highway, the car might be changing lanes, mainly because there's 5G, it's able to connect to the internet, there's no buffering, it's able to get feedback, knows that from the start point to the destination. I mean, we see it out there, the Teslas are doing it, but then what you're saying is that with 5G, it will be more enhanced. This will be real life.
That's correct. You know, 5G is an enabler, as Louisa has said. So that provides the connectivity. And to the extent that we've talked about improved latency, data experience is way better. So the way this interactions happen and data is passed across is just real time. So you're able to do a lot more. And also these things are disruptive. You know, when Uber came, you know, it just kicked out taxi and normal.
Oh, the taxi drivers, exactly. They're there. They even have a new app.
Right, you know, and so we should expect some of these things to come. They are not really far-fetched. They will just catch up with us. So we just need to start getting ourselves ready. And for us as telcos, we will provide the needed infrastructure and then the connectivity. And the good thing is that there are a lot of business verticals that will rise out of this, which will also help the economy, you know.
Okay, so now the question I want to know is that, okay, there's a fashion designer out there. I keep saying fashion. My mother, is actually a designer. She used to be. And then there are people who are selling, some maybe food in some corner store somewhere, a small shop, a small restaurant, some watch seller somewhere, a small business, owner. How, should they prepare for 5G? Which is likely, to show up, in a couple of years. How should they prepare? What exactly should they do?
Okay, so each business will have what they want to do, and then in order to leverage on 5G, you have to look at your strategy and then have a 5G strategy. So you need to plan and see how you can use the advantages of what 5G brings to help you in your business. Now, when you are clear on that, you'd have to look at what you can do in terms of your IT, because it would need some amount of automation, and then make sure that you are really ready to be able to leverage it. So you look at your IT, and then security becomes very important when you look at 5G, because you are connecting more devices and you have to make sure you have secure information through. Then education. Now education cuts across, because you have to be able to allow people to understand what you're doing, then you can get the benefit. But if you have the technology and the users don't really understand, you might have evolved as a service provider, but would your people really understand how to access it with the new one? So you have to do these three things, which are critical to the business, and then you can evolve. So we can support with this as well, but you just have to be ready to say that, okay, there's an enhancement coming with 5G, there's massive Internet of Things, there's low latency. Within my space, what does it mean? How can it help me move my business to another level?
I don't know if
yes, let me just add, we have moved from just a telecom company to a technology company. So we provide the enablement, the connectivity. Also 5G is will come and then help businesses, but people have their core business they run, and so we come in as the support system, as the enabler to provide the connectivity to walk the journey with you, and so we'll provide a tailor-made solution to drive the IT or the connectivity part of your business, where your strategy, like Louisa said, will be running on the connectivity we provide. So you focus on your core business, and we provide the technology that will be the enablement to drive the business. And so, yes, that's where we are wired to do.
So speaking of the businesses needing to prepare, the steps you've outlined is what they need to take. But then I was actually going to come to that question of the networks being ready. Like you mentioned earlier on, what the core infrastructure is ready. It's just what needs to happen to ensure that our networks are ready to be able to deploy 5G when the time comes.
So on the network side, you need your infrastructure, and then that can be divided into the core, the transport, and then the radio side.
Okay.
So our core is ready, it's 5G ready. Transport, we have fiber, and we still keep expanding the fiber network for the backbone. And then there's the radio side. Now the radio side, you have to look at what pertains within your jurisdiction.
When you say radio, what does that mean?
That's where the user or the subscriber interacts directly with the network over the air interface.
So that would be
so
like an antenna?
Antenna, yes.
Oh, the mast.
Mast, yes.
The telecom mast, yes.
So that's where there's communication between your device and then the network. So on that side, it's important the frequency or the spectrum that is used to deploy the 5G. So we need to understand from the policy side and the authorization on which frequency you are authorized to use to provide the service. So those aspects are yet to be concluded, but we have seen that it's already in the regulators' limelight and it's being considered. So we need a spectrum to be able to zero in on what's exactly to do on that side. Then the devices too, we've seen some already in the market, but when the technology is available, we're sure more people would bring it. And then with that deployment to not only handsets, it could come in with more devices and other specific sensors based on the use cases. So it's more of a collaborative approach to leverage that beyond the smartphones. The smartphones are given, but on top of that, other devices to help.
Like TVs,
smart TVs and
smart watches, your vacuum cleaners and everything else. Interesting. Now, I mean, for me, you mentioned something about radio, And I think, like we mentioned earlier, it's important that the general public will realize that, you know, as we clamor and yearn for improved internet speeds, if 5G comes, there is a possibility, or it's very likely, that you find that more towers would have to be built. It might not be the same towers, but then in smaller towers, bigger towers, I don't know. But what it means is that for you to be able to enjoy 5G as a business or as an individual, more towers would have to be built, you know, to be able to deliver that for you. And you should, you know, welcome the towers, you know, when that time comes. I don't know if you have...
Yes, it's important to note, you know, there's a wide range of spectrum that will support 5G, right? And now with the higher bands, you know, they travel at a shorter distance.
Yeah.
So what it means is that if I have a cell site, it will only cover a few meters, all right? And so to cover a particular area, I will need a lot more towers to be able to provide the right connectivity, the right capacity. Don't forget, we've stated the immense speed and experience that 5G comes with. So we need to put in the right infrastructure. So yes, there'll be a lot more towers built. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of high-rise buildings where we can leverage on walls. And so we have to put in these poles. The good thing is that the signals we transmit, we call them non-ionizing. Yeah. They are like what comes out of the TV and all that. We've had TVs in our home, so let's think along those lines. They are non-ionizing, so they have minimal to no impact on us, and there are a lot of studies on this variant. There are bodies that regulate this, right? And so point is that yes, we will end up getting a lot more towers, and yes, to the extent that we need the connectivity, we just have to embrace this, and these things do not impact us in a way, and we are very responsible, and so we try as much as possible to have that aesthetics, you know, to just interact with the environment, just to, you know, avoid any impact on the populace. Yes. And so yes, we try and do that just to be sure everything works fine.
So pivoting back, this is the final remarks. Pivoting back to the businesses and what 5G means for them, within the context of the AFCFTA, and us opening up the borders of Africa for trade to happen, payment rails are being laid so that people can, you know, buy things from Namibia, pay in Ghana, pay in your city, and the person will receive. If you're in Kenya, get your shillings. If you're in Nigeria, get your naira, and all of that. It's important to remind businesses that for them to be able to really enjoy and be able to take advantage of some of these opportunities, they need to embrace things like 5G, which will, fast track, business processes and the likes, right?
Yes. So it's very important that we take advantage of it, and with the reliability that it comes with too, it opens you up on a global scale to compete and even share. Okay, so you could even be organizing virtual classes through 5G, and because of how good it is, you could have audience across the globe. So if these payments things are fully sorted out, you could be receiving your money, like you just said. Okay, absolutely. So I think it's a great opportunity for us as a country. It's going to open up a lot of things, and we should start thinking through what we do. We should be reaching out to know more, and we should collaborate so that as the whole ecosystem grows together and leverages on this.
Okay, for the final word.
Change is inevitable, so we need to just get ourselves ready to embrace the change this new technology is coming with. Definitely, it's coming to enhance the way we do things, the way we connect. All right, everybody wants to be efficient and operationally efficient, and I believe that 5G would bring that enablement to do that. So we all have to get ready. As telcos, we are getting ourselves ready to support the business community and industry. So I believe that the industry should equally be ready, so we can just work together to see a better Ghana.
He took the words right out of my mouth. The regulator is working to make sure 5G becomes a reality. The telcos, as he said, are also getting ready. Now, as businesses, you also need to play your part by reading more about 5G, getting the 5G strategy, how you can leverage 5G to be able to deliver better services, and even grow your market. So exciting times ahead. So thank you so much for watching. This has been another Chamber Dialogue on the Facebook and YouTube channels of the Ghana Chamber Telecommunications. We'll be back with more on another day. Enjoy your day. Bye.
Ahene nyinaa want our children to use the internet to learn. Na wenyina be farmers, doctors, lawyers, fishers, traders na more keka ho. Ahene nyinaa ye pede yenye friends and loved ones who bonkomu phone do without any interruptions.
Ow, yes, ow. A stable service need to send them mobile money na come our parents of ye.
JT Trot Room opedosha Chelsea vs Man City game without missing a moment.
Era mana, onoze nenywa jido obo receive mobile money payment every the customers ho. Pay delay so. Eboze love talks in quoting or po. Obotuma kasa till he sleeps on the phone.
Eyumunyina is made possible because of the red, white, and grey telecommunication towers are our communities in Munti. Them telecommunication towers are safe or to the benefit of Obiara our community nimo. We are here, the Yabobwa. In case of any emergency biara, and now you see a theft going on, for the Ghana Police Service on 191 and now 18555, Ebotunsa for 0209 222220 and 0242 435629 and now 30 for assistance. So, welcome the telecommunication towers into the approved locations in your neighborhoods so that you can keep connecting to the people and things you love. Message Ghana Institution of Engineering and the Radiation Protection Institute and a endorse.
Fellow Ghanaians, to easily check the number of SIM cards registered to your Ghana card, please use the short code *402*1#. You can follow the following steps to find out how many SIM cards are registered to your Ghana card. Step 1. Dial the short code *402*1# on any network. Step 2. Enter your Ghana card PIN. Make sure you enter letters and figures without any spaces or hyphens for verification, just like this. Step 3. Make sure you enter your date of birth in numbers with the day followed by the month and the year you were born in without any spaces or hyphen for verification, just like this. Step 4. Once verified, you will receive an SMS with a list of mobile numbers linked to your Ghana card, including the corresponding networks. Now, if you identify any unknown mobile number or numbers linked to your Ghana card, please visit the service center or retail shop of your service provider for a delinking of the number or numbers. For more information, call 100 on all networks or NCA on 0800 110 622. Remember to register your SIM cards before the 31st of May 2023 to avoid being deactivated from your network. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications with information provided by the NCA.
Your friend is Isaac. We were London market. Me ye juma me sasa bi die na ebro. Me ye ebro wo kai mu bi die wo kai mu. Na me use phone. Phone na me use no de ye juma pa. Ai na nkrofo hia me a o mo de frɛ me. Ye tumi frɛ mo Tama station. Nungwa tashi labad achimota me koyi load. Ejuma me ye no obi a hia me a o frɛ me e wo phone so. Nti me phone ya ade bia me nkonja no ebu kura me niska kura me tumi tiwa na matare me phone e bele. Me pick ya na siko size ejuma be pio achimoto na ma flabo estam ni o me yejo no na yakoyi ye kokoyi kura na se we nye skin twa ya kakura ye betumi aba obetumi da send mo mobile money mobile phone help me wa